What kind of a person jumps into a subdivision with no knowledge, but not just any subdivision, a 1 into 29? You must know how insane this sounds, right?
I have been told.
Which you're now into, what, 2 point what million profit by the time it's all wrapped up?
Yeah, it should be about 2.4.
Peter Giles, a man with a goal, diving
Eyes closed, head first, can't lose.
into property development, taking on insane risks and challenges that people in the property space rarely talk about publicly.
Did a bit of research on option contracts.
How are you researching this?
Just Google. Yeah.
So you literally just Googled, like, how does an option contract work?
Yeah, I'm just a Google subdivider.
But being this risk tolerant isn't because Peter comes from money. This man comes from very humble beginnings.
You from a family of investors? Or
No, definitely not. Very low income, I would say.
what was your first job?
Riding horses, doing trail rides.
Whilst Peter has made insane profits with his first project, this hasn't come without a wild ride, teetering on bankruptcy several times.
So then we owned all the land, but we were still brokers.
I can't pick you yet, Peter. I don't know if you're going to be a billionaire or be broke.
And even though he had zero experience, Peter was more motivated each time he heard the word no from lenders.
I reckon I would have rang 80 people. A lot of them just told me to fuck off. I went to the Big Four and then rang 10 brokers and they're like, nah, you're dreaming.
Knowing how close you came to basically bankruptcy, would you do it again?
I can't condone Peter's story as a safe way that anyone should get into property investing or development. However, it's not to say that there's not a ton we can all learn from this man. Whilst we might have very different risk management styles, Peter's enthusiasm, work ethic, and constant drive to make his life better is infectious and something I believe we can all learn from. So if you're wanting to make this year the year you make big changes and grow as a property investor, listen close to Peter's episode. Take away what works for you. My name's Todd Sloan. This is the Pizza and Property Podcast, and you're about to listen to the very unique story of Peter Giles subdividing one lot into 29, making millions in his very first subdivision.
Peter Giles, how you going?
I'm excellent, mate. How are you?
Mate, I'm good. I'm very curious to unpack your story. I'm keen to hear everyone's story in property, but yours is literally one I have never heard before or anything even remotely close to it. Can we start at the very beginning? For anyone that's a little bit curious, what kind of a person jumps into a subdivision with no knowledge, but not just any subdivision, a 1 into 29, which you're now into, what, 2 point what million profit by the time it's all wrapped up?
Yeah, it should be about 2.3, 2.4.
2.3, 2.4. Okay. So talk to me about the Peter Giles story. Whereabouts you from originally, man?
Originally from Lithgow in New South Wales.
Let's go New South Wales. Okay. And what was dinner table conversation kind of like growing up? You from a family of investors or?
No, definitely not.
No?
No.
Okay.
Very low income, I would say. Yeah.
And when did you realise money was important? Was this something that happened in early stages?
Yeah, definitely. I can remember like being 12, 13, getting like my first job and realising, yeah, it's pretty good to have money. You can do a lot more with it than you can do without it.
What was your first job?
I was riding horses, like doing trail rides.
You were riding horses as a job?
Yes, yeah, on Saturday, Sunday. Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's pretty sick. Got $70 a day, cash.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And you're like 13, 14 years old?
Yeah, 13, 14, yeah, definitely, yeah.
Okay. All right. And now you don't work in the real estate industry though, do you?
No, definitely not, no.
No. What do you do again?
It's like engineering, so we've got a steel fabrication business.
Right. Okay. So you've been in business for what, 5 years, decade? How long now?
Oh, since I was 19. Like, so yeah, originally I moved from Lithgow to Parks for a panel beating apprenticeship.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that didn't work out?
Yeah, it did. Yeah, I finished that.
Okay.
And then as soon as I finished that, I was doing a lot of like welding and sort of fitting work as well. And started doing that on the side, and it was going pretty good. And then I had a partner at the time, like a business partner, so to say. I was 19, he was 18, very, very loose setup, very loose. And it was pretty good. I started, like, well, it was 5 days a week, like at the panel beating, and then just dropped it down to 4 days a week because the little side business was starting to get a bit of work. Then slowly dropped down 3 days a week, 2 days a week, and then just sort of went fully into it. By the time I was 20, we were full time in their sort of Rev 1 engineering business, so to say.
All right. So you didn't really come from money. Your parents weren't investors. Money's not talked about when you're younger, but you're starting a business at, would you say 19, 18?
19, yeah.
19.
Yeah.
What changed? I feel like there's something along the journey there. Was there like a person? Was there a moment? Was there a negative experience, a positive experience?
I don't know really. Hey, I don't know. It would like always liked making money. Even like 14, I was doing that horse riding thing.
Yeah.
And then left school at 15 and started mowing lawns 5 days a week. And then I was doing the horse thing too on Saturday, Sunday. So
your own mower, or do you work for someone?
No, work for someone. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was pretty good. I was raking it in. I was getting $500 a week for the lawn mowing, and then $70 a day, so 140 on the weekend. 15 years old. That was pretty good. Still living like with mum.
And are you blowing it, or have you learned about investing at that stage? No?
I was I was a good saver. I was a good saver. Yeah. Yep. I found I definitely save up, and I like buying bigger things, not just little bits.
Okay.
Like brought like cars, worked on cars for a while. Was always tinkering, doing stuff.
You're not the kind of guy that's got a collection of like Nikes. No. I actually think you're the first person ever to actually sit here without shoes on as we're chatting. You're not a materialistic kind of guy the same way, are you?
Not really, no.
Okay. No. So is it more the experience that you're chasing?
I don't know. At a young age, I don't know. It was just keeping busy. Well, it wasn't really into like video games or anything. So, and like me and my brother always just tinkering with cars, riding motorbikes, working, making money. We definitely figured out early on that having money was
better than not having money.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I know you don't need money to be happy, but you can do some cool shit with it.
Well, that's the thing. It's like I know people on complete opposite ends of the scale, and I know happy people on complete opposite ends and sad people on complete opposite ends. But you can just do so many more things.
You can.
Like the world opens up.
Been happy with no money, and I've been happy with money, and I'll take being happy with money every day of the week.
I still remember when I reckon I was 18 before I went to the mines for a little bit. And it was wonderful. I used to buy a 4-litre sack of Golden Oak wine. Me and my friends would go out. It'd cost me $9.40, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
I had wonderful memories of that. I had
used
no
to
money.
get on the Fruit Alexia.
Yeah.
You'd rip the teat off, put a 1.25 Sprite in it.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah,
Okay.
just to crisp it up a bit. Yeah.
Classy.
Just get wasted on that. That was good. It was good times.
And so when did property come into it for you? Because the other thing that I found fascinating about your story, Peter, is like this isn't one project and you've got this like other portfolio on the side. Like apart from you got a PPR, or like this is it?
Well, we do have a PPR now. Like we sold one of the lots that had a cottage on it to ourselves.
Yep, gotcha.
To get into the PPR. So then when we flog it off, we can get the no capital gains.
Smart. Okay.
Yeah.
Yep.
So we did that straight away as soon as we like subdivided the first lot. But originally we did build a house, like me and my wife, Tay, and she was like, well, I probably skipped over a lot.
Yeah, there's a bit that we're condensing. Yeah.
But we built it like I had the business. Tay had a good job in the mines. We were making good money. Brought a 10-acre lot of land past the lot that we brought.
Okay.
So further out of town. And then built a house there. We thought it was like, pretty cool. Then I actually read, I think this is probably what ticked it over the edge a little bit, the Rich Dad Poor Dad. Like everyone's read it.
Classic.
And then I was like, maybe we need to do something. I don't want to work like a dog my whole life.
What year roughly was that?
That would have been maybe 24.
And what are you now again?
32.
32. Okay.
So maybe.
So 8 years?
Yeah,
roughly?
7 years ago.
Yep.
Oh, maybe not. Yeah, 7 years ago. Yeah. Okay. I was 25. Because the business I originally had, we ended up actually liquidating that when I was 25. It was just when we were building the house.
Yeah. Okay.
The first house. Yeah.
And liquidating because like we just want to get out.
Well, it was going pretty good. Like it was going real good. We sort of punched up to that million turnover pretty good. But my business partner, he had a family like already, and like he wanted to maybe go a different direction than I wanted to go. I thought, take it to the moon. I want everything.
Yeah. So you were still revving up and he was slowing down.
Yeah. Then I approached him to buy him out, and then he wanted to buy me out. Then it all went sour after that pretty well, and we had a fair bit of ATO debt at the time because we were got into business at 19. Like we didn't fucking know you had to pay tax.
Yeah. Right.
So it had just accumulated, right? And then it made logical sense to, at the time, short-term pain. It has been it's been long-term pain really doing it. But the lessons I learned doing it was, I'd never change it. Just learned too much through that process around business. But there was some debt, and it just wasn't going to work. So we sort of decided to liquidate what was there.
And did you walk away with any debt, or did you guys both walk away clean?
Nah, both walked away pretty clean.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so you learned a lot of lessons.
Okay.
Sounds like you made a bit of money. You also lost a bit of money. And now you're starting to go, all right, I'm looking at finance in a bit of a different way. Is it more like the investing side of things is starting to light up, or the deal making side? What is it?
After that, then I went out on my own and started like the company I've got now. Mm-hmm. And I was just fucking like working like a proper dog. Just
how many hours a week?
100 easy. Yeah, punching it.
And Tay's doing those kinds of hours in the mines as well?
She was on 7/7.
Yep, good roster, even time.
Heaps good roster. And then doing stuff on days off as well. Like we're both busy. Mm. It was good, but then I suppose the real turning point where we started thinking of like heaps serious was having a kid. Mm-hmm. And I was like, and I was doing FIFO, like mostly prominently FIFO. And then COVID hit at the same time that we were having like our first kid, Mila. And it was probably just like we need to do something a bit different. We couldn't do the FIFO anymore. Mm-hmm. I was like, just as COVID hit, I was about to fly out to PNG for a shutdown, and then that got canned. And then I was like, my kid's going to be here soon. I don't want to be working away all the time. And then so I was thinking of different stuff, starting to like do some self-development, reading plenty of books. This property that we ended up buying I drove past it every day, at least twice a day, leaving, coming home. Mm-hmm. I remember like looking at it going, like, why is that not subdivided? But I'm driving 10 more minutes out the road to a subdivision, like large, like 10-acre lots, and it's just sitting there. Like, didn't have any cattle on it, didn't get like crops. It's just been sitting there ever since we had lived out there.
And where is this?
In Parks.
This is in Parks.
Yeah, in Parks. Yep. Yeah. So just out, like, I was probably where we brought and built a house was maybe 10 minutes out the road, and this was only 2 minutes out the road. Okay. And then I said to Tay one day, why don't we just buy that and subdivide it?
What year is this?
It was early on. It was like 2020.
Okay.
Yeah, August 20. I remember I went back and checked my emails, and it was like, it was up for sale. It was up for sale, but there were some signs on it, and they were all ratty. Like half of them had fallen down, and I was like, well, it's obviously been up for sale at some point in time. Didn't sell. And then I'd ring the agent, and they were just like, yeah, they don't want to sell it anymore. It's off the market. And I was like, oh yeah. So maybe I'll just ring the owner, see if they want to sell it, because his agent was just being not helpful. Mm-hmm.
Okay, but there's still like old signs up.
Very old signs, yeah, very old.
Okay, and just to be clear, so you don't have any property experience?
No, only had the PPR.
Had the PPR?
Yeah.
You've never renovated before?
No.
Never developed?
No.
And you've bought that one PPR?
Yes, yeah.
Right, and you're looking at it just through the lens of, why am I driving an extra 10 minutes when there's this huge lot here? Like, this makes sense. Why isn't this subdivided?
Yeah, pretty well. Well, it just seemed logical. Like, why wouldn't you do it? And I sort of, the dude that was developing where we brought he's old. He's a good dude though. And I sort of had chatted to him, and he's like, yeah, you make money out of it. I was like, oh, making money sounds good to me.
Did you ask him why he hadn't subdivided it?
We didn't own that. It was someone else.
Oh, I think you said you chatted to the old dude that owned it.
No, that owned the one that we had built a PPR, sorry.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So this one, but the real estate didn't help. Then probably 6 months went by, and then driving past it every day, and it was just fucking bugging me. I was like, I don't think that's good enough. Like, surely they want to sell it. And then I said, hey, I should ring them up and see if they want to sell it. She said, yeah, sounds good. Like,
so is there a house there?
There was 2 houses, one little cottage, which we actually live in now, and then an old farmhouse, but it was pretty well redundant. Like, it was a knockdown job.
How'd you get the details to call them?
Well, there was a ute out the front for sale.
Okay.
And it had a phone number on it. So I rang it.
And I don't want the ute.
Well, I said, I got your phone number off this ute.
Yeah.
I said, do you own the property? And it was actually the wife. So they were very elderly couple. And she's like, she was really nice.
Yeah.
Mary, her name was. Well, still is, I suppose. Anyways.
I doubt she goes by Keith now. It's probably still Mary.
And she's like, we might be interested in. And she said, I'll get my son to call you because it's very elderly. Anyway, so the son ended up calling me, and he'd have to be 60, I suppose, maybe like late 50s. Graham, he's a good dude. He actually lived in Parkes, but the lady that owned it with her husband lived in Sydney because he was quite ill. I didn't really realise at the time, and I'll get to that bit.
All right.
And sort of started talking to this Graham, and they was like, yeah, we'd probably be interested in selling it. And then just sort of chatted to him every couple of weeks, build up a bit of a annoyance to him. I think he sort of liked me. He definitely.
You say annoyance, but I feel like it's more rapport, really, or did you just feel like you were pushing it a bit, Matt?
Oh well, you just kept ringing him. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and then eventually, like, started talking to him, saying, "Oh, I want to do this," and then turns out that his dad, who owned it, started to do a subdivision in the early 90s. So there was 6 lots that there was already a DA in for that was approved.
Would have expired though, surely.
No, because physical works had started.
Oh, okay.
Which just the legislation says this surveyor's mark is physical works.
Right.
Yeah, so as long as the surveyor's beg's in the ground, you're sweet, right?
Yeah.
So it was already started. And then they had actually put some driveways in, some bitumen ones, which I wouldn't say we're totally compliant now, but we got around that. Anyways, I was like, oh, that's cool. So I ended up like meeting up with him. He showed me all the paperwork, and I was like, oh, well, that's handy to know that something's going on there. And it sort of helped us out down the track, but built up a bit of relationship. And I had read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and he was talking about option contracts. And I was like, oh, maybe I'll just do one of these. So I sort of did a bit of research on option contracts and pitched it to them. And
hold on, back up just a second. When you say did a bit of research on option contracts, how are you researching this?
Just Google. Yeah.
So you literally just Googled like, how does an option contract work?
Yeah, I'm just a Google subdivider. Yeah, but now with ChatGPT, it's heaps easier. So much quicker.
You must know how insane this sounds, right?
I have been told that. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
Sorry, continue.
So that sort of looked into it. Oh, yeah, well, that would work. We sort of need time, but I want to lock it up under some sort of contract that we could potentially get out of.
Okay.
If required. So we ended up negotiating after a while, probably a year went by there, but we negotiated a 12 months option contract, call only. So if we got to the end, they couldn't put it on us. Put 10% down. So purchase price was 2.2 million that we agreed upon. So we put 200 cash down, non-refundable if we shit the bed. And then started like just talking to people. The surveyor helped us a fair bit. Got onto a town planner. They were like heaps good. We use them heaps now. They helped out a lot. Did a bit of a plan up, put a DA in, got a DA approved, started advertising it for sale. That was a bit of a hard pitch when we started getting to contract stages.
And so this is what, mid 21? Started 21?
Yeah, early 21.
Early 21?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. Yep. Early to mid 21. Yeah. Then we're going pretty good, but we're getting towards the end of the option. And I was like, well, we probably need to sort some money out to buy this thing. Like, we're getting close to having to buy it. Because I didn't have any money sorted yet. I just, I thought, kick the can down the road. We'll sort that out when we need it.
How close is close?
Like a couple months left.
You make me nervous, Peter.
But it was going good. But it probably got a bit worse because we started putting a fair bit of money in to do the works. We got some fencing done, getting the power sorted, getting the survey sorted out, and then the DA, and then we started running out of money because we put the 200 in, then we had to pay the stamps, and it was like, ran out of money.
So when you took it to the bank though, surely they were like, cool, we can see quite an uplift here. We're happy to give you financing, or was it like serviceability was shot?
Serviceability, they were like, they just literally, I reckon, I went to every, the big four and then rang maybe 10 brokers and they're like, you're dreaming. It's not
any of them special in development finance?
No, but now I know, right? I know. Okay. Yeah. Right. So I've only just recently started talking to like a dedicated, proper one, yeah. Which if we knew that, it probably would have helped out. But so it was getting pretty close, but we had already, we'd run out of money. So, and Tay's a little bit mad too. I mean, not as mad as me, but still pretty mad.
Okay.
And so I was like, I think we need to sell the house and we'll just keep pumping it in. And then that was a hard pitch. Okay. But then we're like, it's going to sky, big jump ahead. Our wealth journey, mega jump ahead. All right, let's do it. So we put it up for sale, ended up selling it. This was like COVID had just hit. And we had in the contract that we could live in the cottage on the property, which is a little 2-beddiest tiny. So
You're talking like a little 80 square meter cottage kind of thing?
yeah, maybe not even that.
Wow, okay.
So we we had a second kid, just so River, and we sold the house. It was like only 2 years old because we built it, right? It was nice.
You did all right out of it? You got a bit of profit?
Yeah, we did all right out of it. Yeah. We ended up putting about 400 grand in the pocket.
Okay.
Yeah, which was good. But
all right.
and then we moved into this cottage. So like it's literally 2 tiny little rooms.
Yeah.
A kitchen. I did a renovation over Christmas, like because it was pretty. People had been squatting in there. Like it's
pretty rough.
Yeah, it was definitely at some sort of crackdown, right?
Okay. So can we just quickly talk about some numbers? So you walked away there on 400K profit from selling the first PPR.
Yeah.
Okay.
But then I had done another little thing on the side. So the old dude that subdivided where our PPR was, he had another bit of land that he was subdividing. So I had told him that I'd buy one of his lots. So I put a deposit on it. After reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, he's talking about on selling stuff.
I feel like I can already see where this is going. Yep.
So it worked out. He had them ready maybe just as we were advertising our house. It probably took maybe 3 months to sell. And they were ready to go and he wanted to settle on it. I sort of had a pretty good relationship with him. I said, how about when I sell the house, I'll just settle on your lot then. Can you hang out for a couple of months? And he was like, yeah, no worries. Like, he was a pretty good dude. So that was sort of, young fella having a go. He was keen to help us out. So that was pretty cool. We brought that for 170 and then sold it for 250 and we'd done a simultaneous settlement. So we sold the house, brought that, then I already had that on sold.
Yep.
So, but they couldn't do a triple settlement.
Okay.
So it had sat there for like 3 days and then we settled again on that.
Yep.
So that was pretty cool little money pickup.
So you're walking away with almost $500,000. Not quite.
Yeah.
Probably 450 after taxes.
Yeah.
And how much is?
We had to obviously pay CGT on the second property.
Of course.
Yeah. The little flipper.
How much are you buying the full property for?
2.2.
2.2 million. Yeah. Okay, so 2.2 mil, and so you've got finance for it now. No,
not yet. No. So we'd moved into this little cottage, which was shit. It had no heat and no aircon. It was middle of winter. It was dog shit. We had these little electric heaters. It was.
I know the ones.
It was shit. It was probably shit, but it's cool. It was. It was good. It was a good eye opener actually. Like made us realize that you don't need materialistic bullshit to be happy. So it's been good. We've been in it 3 years. 3 years been enough. Like we definitely need to build something. But anyways, went off track there. So we moved into this thing. Didn't have finance to settle on it. So it was getting a little bit stressful. Then in the engineering business, we're doing some pretty big jobs at that stage and we're looking into doing this invoice factoring. So we're doing some work for Visi and they're sort of 300 grand invoices. I've been doing it for a couple of years and I got on this invoice factoring dude. So you do a job, you invoice, say in this case Visi, and they take 60 days and a month to pay. So you're waiting.
It's 3 months.
Yeah.
Why don't they just say 90 days?
Yeah. So 90 days till you got paid. As we're getting bigger, we're sort of struggling carrying that cost over the years. And I got onto this invoice factoring. This guy, you'd invoice Visi, then he would pay you, but he'd take 9%. And then he would wait to get paid. And so then you lose 9% of your invoice, but you get paid straight away. Yeah, in like 3 days. And then every year I got onto him like just on the internet and he like approved us to do it. Then we'd do the job. He'd ring me up. Right, you want to do it? I don't want to give up my 9%. So I just deal with it and like go pay everyone. And you'd have no money for fucking 3 months and then you get paid and it was all good. So I did that for like 4 years in a row. Just that's in the engineering business. And then he rang me up one day. He's like, I'm just going to take you off my list. Like you're never going to use me. I was like, no, I'm not. I'm not going to give up 9%. I'd rather just have the struggle. And then I said, but I'm in a bit of a pickle with this subdivision I'm doing. Do you do anything like that? I said, no one will fucking give me money. And he's like, nah, I just stick to this. That's what I do. He goes, but I know a guy that does some stuff like that. And he put me onto a dude in Brisbane. And that was like a game changer. He helped out heaps. Rang him up, said, oh, this guy gave me a number. I'm doing a property subdivision. I can't get the money. The banks have like laughed at me. I got to settle on it in like 2 months. It's fucked. And then was heaps good. Gave me his time and then gave us like a big list of shit to do. He's like, you got to get pre-sales, get as many pre-sales as you can, try and get people under contracts if you can.
So you're properly learning on the go. Like
Yeah.
you didn't even know anything about pre-sales? None of it?
No.
Okay. All right. So now you've got to this stage where you've got some, by the sounds of things, like private funding.
Well, not yet.
Okay.
So, so we ended up like getting some pre-sales, which was good. Like, and we were still, it was like only $1,000 deposits on. It was nearly all the lots, right? And then we had a few contracts. A few of them were a hard sell. Like, no one could understand how you can have a contract on a lot of land that you don't actually own. That's under an option contract that has someone else's,
There's a bit of explaining to do.
bit of explaining. So that was really hard. But a few people were heaps, like they were just like, oh yeah, like you aren't crooks, like all good.
Because you've been in business in town for a while at this stage as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
But then like a lot of people were like, no, like my solicitor said, don't sign it. It's, it's you're shonky and shit like that. It's like, we're not, we're just trying to have a go. But anyways, so then we ended up getting on a Zoom call with this guy from Brisbane, Andrew, his name was, lined us up on a Zoom call with a private equity mob. And I sort of went through it with him, and they were like on board straight away. It's like, this is the best deal that's come across our table in 10 years.
Yeah, right.
I couldn't believe what we'd done so far. And they're like, oh, well, when do you need the money? I was like, well, it's like 2 weeks away.
Yesterday?
Yeah. They're like, yep, no worries, we'll get shit happening. Sent us like a letter of offer, signed it. So the wheels were sort of in motion. Then the owner died.
Right.
Yep.
So now probate kicks in?
Probate, yeah. So that was a little bit nerve-wracking because we were in the option contract. I sort of heard secondhand that he died, so we called the option, got us into the contract of sale, and then it was still probably a little bit, we weren't sure like what was going to happen. We're living on the place. Old mate had died. We're meant to be buying it, but the family was heaps good. Like I built up a pretty good relationship with Graham, and he was sort of, once they let us know, a few weeks went by, then he rang us and said, look, but no, by no stretch of the imagination, we're going to try and kick over. Like we want you to do it.
And he was an elderly man. Like it wasn't like it was a surprise and he was a 40-year-old dude or anything.
Well,
was
he was a bit sick, but I didn't realize like how sick he was.
Right. Okay.
And he was obviously sick enough to die.
Yep.
Okay. But then, we had a bit of a discussion about it, and they're like, we're not going to try and get out of it. We're going to like, there's no stress. So, but then they're like, well, it's in probate, and it turns out that he had a bit of a substantial property portfolio. So it took a fair while to go through probate, and it was getting towards the end of the year, and then the Supreme Court's obviously closed over sort of, may as well not do anything December, January. So it sort of, but it was shit because we were so close to, but we already had all the work done, right? But it was sort of good at the same time because it did buy us a bit more time, took a little bit of stress off. Once we had the, security that, they're not going to fuck us over. They're good people. We obviously had to communicate that to everyone that was already under a contract. And we lost, I think, one person. The rest of them were like, yeah, okay, well, shit happens. Like, we want to stick around. They knew they were getting a pretty good lot of land for a good, fair price.
What were you charging per block?
300.
And how'd you come to that number?
I just sort of made it up.
See,
well, there was a bit of thought behind it. Like,
can you share the address? Because I feel like people watching now are going to be like, "Is Todd just making stuff up now? Like, is it like this is a real subdivision?"
100%. Yeah. They can Facebook it if they want. Yeah, it's legit. Yeah.
Where is it?
In Parks.
And, does it have a name?
Yeah, it's called Old Pine Estate.
Old Pine Estate.
Yeah, so it's on Back Trundle Road.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
It's real. It's fully legit.
Yep.
Yeah. And well, I sort of, we did a little bit of research, and I felt that 300 was a good price, like pretty fair.
So you're not literally just making it up. Like you're looking at what sold around the place before.
Yeah, well, there wasn't a lot of sort of comparisons for the sort of type of land because they're real lifestyle lots. But these, so just to loop back a little bit, these first ones, the 6 that we were getting contracts on, were the ones that he had originally put the DA in for.
Can you draw this? Like this is why we've got the iPad in front of me here. Because anyone listening on iTunes or Spotify, head on over to YouTube at the moment. If not, this might just be boring for 30 seconds for you. All right, so the actual design of the lots, this has come from like the town planner, the surveyor, or is this just like bits of what was already there?
So mostly from the surveyor, he done like the original layouts.
Yep.
And then the town planner did get us to probably jig it a little bit, but this one was definitely mostly the surveyor, and it was incorporating this original subdivision that the owner, the one that died, had started in 1990.
Can you draw that section of it first?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we know
yeah.
what were you dealing with that you'd kind of inherited from the original
So,
lots?
It was sort of like 6 lots.
Okay.
So we got 1, 2, 3, 4.
And so that big sort of,
Like this, yeah.
that big shape there, that's what, 240 acres?
Yeah, the whole lot, 240 acres.
And they're how many acre lots off the side?
These ones they're 1.8 hectares, so what's that? 3.5 acres.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so why didn't you keep them smaller like that? Because you ended up doing 10s, didn't you?
Yeah, so because of the zoning now is R5 large lot, minimum lot size 10 acres.
Got it.
But-
Okay. Back
so
then, different story.
There was an issue here, like council sort of pushed back against this, and we're like, well, no, you can't do that. And then we did a bit of research, and it turns out that we could, because there was already physical work started. So that's why we did this first, and we thought it was the cheapest thing to do first. So, and the cheapest and fastest bit to do first. So we'll just get that done, get some money, and then we'll go on to the next stage and sort of break it up a bit.
Okay. And what year is this now?
It'll be 2 years ago. Yeah.
So 22-ish.
22. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, 22.
What gave you the confidence to push back at the council? Because you've never done this before. And you've got a council saying, no, you can't do this. What made you go, nah, yeah, I can?
Well, I suppose the town planner sort of advised that there was, and the surveyor, that it could be done. And so we did a bit of research, and there was, the legislation says that as long as there's physical works, which even a surveyor's peg counts, but there was some driveways put in, and so
there's actual physical works.
there was actual physical works, yeah. So we got it over the line. We still had to do some water mains, a little bit of power stuff. Like, it was just fucking overgrown with shit. Like, it was like a jungle. It looked like dog shit. So we cleaned this section all up, made it look real schmeek, put new fencing, and then these were the ones that we were getting the contracts on.
And they're 300 each.
300 each, yeah.
300 each,
Yeah, that's
okay.
right, yeah. So we had I think we got 4 contracts. We had 5, 1 fell through because of the probate thing, which,
Yep.
they weren't comfortable with it, so that's fine.
How long did it take you to resell?
Well, we took a little bit, the couple months to get new buyers on them, yeah,
Okay.
a couple months, yeah. So had the contracts on them, and then probate got granted, and we got the loan, brought the land, but then we'd already put in a fair bit of money on the next stage, which was sort of I draw it here,
Yeah.
come across here, and so we had 10 more lots here.
And these are all the 10 acre lots.
Yeah, or the 10 acre. There's probably not 10 there, but there's
Gotcha.
10. Yeah, it's not really. It's more like this. Who cares?
Do you want the little eraser there?
No, it's
Okay.
People understand. Don't stress. Don't stress.
I get you. And so where's the road? How's all this connecting up?
Okay, well, so this here is Back Trundle Road.
Yep.
So and there's a road here, and then we don't own this scribbly bit in here. All right,
Gotcha.
It's someone else's.
Okay.
And this scribbly bit, other people.
Yep.
Road along here comes down, the road up here. So first stage, we did these, borrowed the money after probate got granted. The private equity stayed along. They were heaps good. They were heaps good.
What do they charge?
A lot.
Can you say?
Yeah. So this first loan was they have 2 interest rates, 12% for the first 6 months, and then it goes up. It went up to 16% for anything after that. So the loan term was meant to be 6 months, but if you exceed it, they don't just sort of foreclose on you straight away. As long as you keep paying the high interest rate, they will stick around. As long as you keep making it every month.
Gotcha.
Right.
Okay.
So as long as they're making money.
Yeah.
Right? But this one was really good. We had enough there that, so we brought it 42 days. So we sent out letters to everyone. You got to settle in 28 days. We had the loan paid back in 42 days.
Brilliant.
So that was pretty sick. So then we owned all the land, but we were still broke as fuck.
Okay.
And then
So your 400 grand that you are 450-ish that you've got, that's all gone now?
It's all gone now, yeah, because we started doing the second stage, so the next 10 lots, which is down this Back Trundle Road here.
Okay.
We'd already started putting fencing in.
That's what I was going to ask. How's it all gone? What are you spending this on?
Yeah. So I got the DA in for that, got the SWC, which is Subdivision Work Certificate, in for that.
Yep.
Had all the power design done. It all takes money. So we'll sort of jumped ahead again, dove into that. And then after this first stage settled, paid the lender back, and then went again. They gave us another loan, which was heaps good. The first loan was it was 2 mil. Second loan was 1.4.
Did you try a commercial, like standard lender?
No, No, just went straight away with them.
Okay.
Probably for speed and just out of
This is easy, it works.
Yeah, like was the only thing we knew that worked at the time.
Yeah, okay.
I was like, well, nothing else, we're fucked until now, and these people have sorted us out, so we may as well keep going with them, and it's easy. They knew us, so like, yeah, nah.
You did this one right?
Yeah, it was pretty good. The first one was a little bit harder to get. The second loan, we sort of built the rapport. They sort of trusted that we're having a go, and gave us the next one pretty good. And I had a few contracts by that time on there. We had done a lot of work. Paid a few, like the deposits for the electrical and the civil. Sort of, this was like coming out of COVID. Prices were going through the roof, and the money we borrowed from the lender, it's probably like I've learnt now we should have got fresh quotes, because price went up fucking heaps. And then it turned out like we'll get to the end of it. All the physical works are pretty much done, but then we had to pay the electrical and the civil, and we were about $500,000 short.
Okay.
Yeah, which was not a good scenario.
And you don't have a house to sell anymore?
No. So we're done.
You've got land?
Yeah. So then during the first stage, towards the end of it, the engineering business was growing quite sort of rapidly, and we were renting a premises, but we'd outgrown it. So we were looking for a shed to rent that was bigger, and then we ended up finding one that we could purchase. So we set up a trust to buy that in to rent off ourselves.
Right.
And the goal, the plan for that was to long-term hold, like sort of set and forget.
That was going to be a bit of a plant the seed.
Yeah. And sort of like a safety backup, if it really goes bad with this.
We've always got the shed.
We've always got the shed, and even if something happens with the engineering business, it'll always rent in Parkside.
Okay.
It's a safe thing.
All right. But I'm assuming there's a twist in the story?
Yeah. So then like we had run out of money again after using the house money.
Yep.
And I was sitting there like wrapping my head around like, what am I going to do? And I knew Tay wouldn't be happy about selling the shed because we had some pretty frank conversations about it staying no matter what. And I went and got a coffee, and I was thinking, I know someone that would buy it. And I knew the neighbour wanted to buy it when I brought it. He was looking at it as well. So I rang him up and said, do you want to buy my shed? I need money. He knew what was going on with the subdivision because the shed that I was renting originally was one of his. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
Bit confusing, but anyways, we'll move on. And then rang him up and said, do you want to buy my shed? And he's like, what's going on? Explain like we'd run out of money again. And he sort of laughed about it. Said, I told you. It costs a lot of money to start buy land. I was like, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so then he goes, how much do you want? And I said, 400. And he goes, I'll give you 380. I was like, right, done. And then like went home that night and said, hey, I reckon we need to sell this shed. Hey, like
But you'd already made the deal.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You must be a roller coaster to be married to, mate.
Yeah, it's a wild ride.
It sounds like Tay's a very supportive woman.
Oh, she's awesome. Hey, yeah.
Okay.
100%. Like, if it wasn't for her, I don't think we would have. Yeah, it's definitely a team effort.
Yeah.
And she's a bit mad, so it works. Anyway, so I went home, told her, and she's like,
she wasn't happy.
She wasn't happy, but then I was explaining, we just got to do it. We just
Okay.
got to do it. If we don't do it, what else are we going to do? That
Just sit on the land, basically. You wouldn't have any other option, would you?
Yeah, we'd pretty much shit the bed with it, I reckon.
Yeah.
Like we wouldn't be able to pay them. They would have taken it.
Yep.
Pay for some more stuff. But it still wasn't enough because we owed a fair bit on it. We only come out with about 120 grand, so it didn't really go that far. Paid some council fees, that's about it. And then needed some more money to finish the second stage. So I thought, I've sold everything that we have. We literally have nothing except the land that we're on, but we've already got that on the hook with the private equity. They got a first mortgage over the whole thing.
At any point, are you like, I'm regretting this? Like I've made a huge mistake here?
No, there was definitely some points where I was unbelievably stressed, but I just had the blinkers on. Like it was like I was on a different planet. I just had the blinkers on. And I was like, I just got to get it done. Just got to get it done. There's two options: get it done or shit the bed. And I wasn't willing to do that.
Okay, keep going. Man, I feel nervous just listening to this story. Like it feels so out of this world. Yeah. Anyway.
Anyways, so we needed some more money to pay it was the electrical and the civil that we owed money on.
Yep.
The work was done. They had done the work. We just had to finish paying them. So I just sat there on my phone and literally scrolled through and just rang every single person that I thought would have any money and asked them for money. I reckon I would have rang 80 people. A lot of them just told me to fuck off. But a few of them gave us money, and I ended up getting it was worked out at 501 grand that we got.
Okay.
And it was like, had a few people that,
Bit of interest?
Yeah, we're good. Like knew quite well. I got one that gave us 250. Then there was another one that gave us 150. Then there was a few 20s, and then there was even down to like $5,000 loans. And a few people, well, most of them wanted interest. Some of them wanted loan agreements. Some of them didn't. Some of them didn't want interest. They were just happy to help out. And then it was a bit. I was definitely stressed at that point.
When's this?
This is early this year. Early this year,
Early
this
24.
was. Yeah, early this year. We're right at the end of this one. Yeah, it was early this year. And that's because it was sort of like mid-23 to mid-24 was that second stage.
Yep.
And I didn't want to sort of the electrical contractor or the civil contractor around because we knew we wanted to use them again. We needed to pay them. Then we're having a heap of hold up with council, with the sort of paperwork side. All the physical work was done, but hold up with paperwork side on council, Central Energy, it was a little bit of a challenge. Learned lots of things there. And then with LRS, a little bit of it's just slow. It's just slow for paper to move. So I sort of knew we needed about 3 months. So I just made all these loan deals with people, paid everyone off. That was good. Then we had 8 lots under contract. So as soon as the titles were registered, served everyone with their notice, and then they all settled, like their mate settled in. It was like the longest was like 38 days.
Okay.
Paid their private equity first because you have to. And then we started getting cash in the bank, paid everyone back, sorted out some sort of other debts that we sort of had accumulated. And then we ended up with 4 lots that was money in the pocket, basically. So
you're finally starting to walk away with profit.
Yeah.
At the start of 24.
At the
or mid.
So mid 24. Yeah, we ended up nearly had $1 million there that we sort of probably could have just pulled the pin there and walked away, but we still had the third stage with 11 lots. So that's what we're sort of in now, and we just took our money, paid the deposits again, so every cent back in, paid the deposits, went with the same equity mob again, borrowed 1.2 this time.
You thought about refinancing away from them now?
Yeah, now we're definitely looking at other options that are maybe
a lot cheaper.
Well, it depends. We're looking at other options to see cheaper and ease. I suppose you've got to weigh up. I'm happy to pay the cost of doing business if it's easy and frictionless. So
16% still a bit.
It's up there. It's up there. Yeah. But that's only if you go into the overtime.
Gotcha.
Right. Okay. So I learned from that one because we did go into the overtime, over 6 months on this second stage. That's where so we're getting hammered.
Yep.
But then so this third loan, I just paid 12 months interest straight up, bang. So we know, all right, we've got a 12-month window. It's not gonna. We've learned from that second stage that we need way more time than we thought we needed. So we paid 12 months up front on this third stage, put our money nearly $1 million in, and borrowed 1.2. And we're right at the end of it now. We only need 3 lots to sell to pay the 1.2 back that we owe to the equity. And there's 11 lots in there. So we're getting right to the end of it. The electrical all got hooked up today. And the roads are, I'd say, 90% done. There's
like today.
Today. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you've got how much then locked up in land profit at the moment? If you were to keep them like in equity before any kind of CGT?
If we were to sell all 11 lots on this last stage, and this accounts for paying back the equity, we would end up with 2.4-ish in the bank.
2.4-ish.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I genuinely don't know what to say. Like this has worked out. Obviously, you've made a $2.5 million profit. Even if you take your CGT out of that, you're going to be looking at what, 1.6, 1.7.
Well, there's no CGT because it's in a company, so you only pay
so 30%,
25% because trading.
Of course, sorry.
Yeah.
So 25%.
But you'll never pay 25% because there's obviously expenses to deduct it.
So you're walking away with that $2 million.
Probably more. Yeah.
Probably more.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. If we were to sell it all, but we're probably not going to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. And you've still got the house, like you've kept the cottage?
Yeah. The cottage is on this little lot up here. Yeah. And we'll build a house there tomorrow. So then, just to finish the drawing off, we've got a road down here. There's a couple of lots in here. The road goes up. There's a cul-de-sac here. Road up here. Cul-de-sac, and then that's pretty well split off into. That's a funny shaped lot. There's 11 lots in here, right? There's a shit drawing, but you get the point. There's 11 lots, 10-acre lots, all 10-acre.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. Would you do it again, knowing what you know?
Yeah, 100%.
Not even a hesitation.
Yeah, wouldn't even blink an eyelid. Yeah, we're looking now. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Would you recommend someone else do this?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, you can make a ton of money.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
knowing how close you came to basically bankruptcy by the sounds of things.
Yeah, well, you got to risk it for the biscuit.
You are more of a risk taker, aren't you?
Yeah, but just like how quick you can fast track your wealth journey. Like it's obviously not for everyone, and you got to one have a freaking good partner that's not going to leave her. It's difficult bleak there for a while. Like a few times she said like you got to get your blinkers off, or we're done.
So you got the proper hard word.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, it's just like I get like hyper focused, and it's like everything else disappears. And I was just like I got it, and especially when we owed all these people, I did hate owing people we knew money. I hated it.
Yeah.
And I was just head down, just hammer it, just make as much money as I can. And in the engineering, I was like, I'm just pumping it in there. I was like, just to be safe. Like I was very confident that we're literally just paperwork away from registering them. But I thought, just to be safe, I need to just pump it and make sure that if anything catastrophic happens, we can pay these people back. The equity, obviously, they've got a mortgage over the land. It's like, whatever. But the people, I wanted to make sure that no matter what, we could pay them back. But yeah, it was it was a bit hectic. It got a bit hectic.
Okay. So I can't condone what you've done. Like I've got so much adoration. I don't know if adoration, admiration, like respect, whatever a descriptive we're choosing here, for the fact that you've done it, man. But I just look at how quickly that could have gone the other way, and it's like you skin your teeth. You pulled it off, amazing, and $2+ million profit.
Yeah, if we decide to sell them all, but we'll probably keep some. I think there's more growth there to be had. So
the big thing, and this is one of the reasons I really wanted to chat with you, Peter, because whether anyone's listening going, this guy's just like on another level, or if they're listening going, yeah, cool, risk it for the biscuit, like I'm down, let's do it. Either way, there is still so many takeaways you can get from this. If you take out the fact that this was the first time, there is still so many different ways that you went, my back's up against the wall, how do I get out of it? Because whether you're an experienced property investor, an experienced developer, what happened to Peter is still going to happen. Like you're still going to, maybe not all of it, but you're still going to get to spots where you're like, holy crap, we've run out of money, or holy crap, how do I solve this problem, or I don't know this.
It obviously doesn't have to be 1 in 29, yeah? And I think it's anything. It's like Taylor says, it's the gun to your head analogy. If you put the gun to your head, you'll make it happen, I reckon.
It's just the scale of it. That's the big
I think that's what it's pretty hectic.
Yeah. Like I'm talking with someone at the moment, they're developing a 10-story building, and for them, their challenge was, it had something to do with fire exits and making sure the pump room's down. Yeah. But the engineer stuffed it up and there was an issue. And this is someone with a lot of development experience. They were still pulling their hair out going, how do we solve this now?
Yeah, we're looking at one now, actually, an office building we want to convert to apartments, yeah.
You're right.
I'd love to make that happen because even we're looking at some other land subs, and we've got, obviously, I think you always learn. Like I've just adding it to my spreadsheet. Every that goes wrong, well, I should have done that 3 months ago. Just put it in a spreadsheet, put it in there. But looking at this office building, it makes me a bit nervous. Like, there's something there.
I can't
gotta get the hit.
I can't pick you yet, Peter. I don't know if you're going to be a billionaire or be broke. Either way, man. Like. But dude, full respect for the action component. You've done it.
Like, well, at the moment we have no money again, but these lots are
equity wise though. Everything's like
we're pretty sweet to finish this off. I reckon March is our scope for having them titled, ready to go, knowing how long we know it takes a while now. So
is there a part of you now that wants to funnel some of the profits off into something that's just a little bit more like nest egg secure, maybe give Tay a bit of security that sounds like she's probably wanting?
Personally, Tay is definitely pushing and she's looking for good positive return assets to buy that we'll definitely we'll funnel some money off to that, but for me it's the thrill of the ride. I suppose that's where you get the hits.
And how do you know when the ride's done? Like, is there end goal for you? Is there some kind of because you and I were loosely chatting about this off air before.
Yeah, I don't know.
What is it?
I don't know yet. I don't know. Yeah, I'm still working on that one. I don't think there is. Even the second stage when we sold that and we had the money, it was, I don't know. I thought it would be like this, we did it. It was, I don't know. Didn't seem as exciting as the actual journey of doing it. It was almost like, is that Is that it? Oh yeah. I don't know. It wasn't what I thought. It wasn't what I thought.
You and I were talking about modern wisdom just a little bit off here. Like there was, I think it was Jimmy Carr on Modern Wisdom, and talked about this episode a bit. And what was the quote? Having stuff isn't fun. Getting stuff is fun.
It is. It is.
It
like,
really
having
is that.
stuff is fun, but getting it is, especially like this, it's like, get checked up over it.
What are your biggest takeaways? If someone is listening, because I'm going to ask you for an action step in a second, but like, what's the stuff that now you'd go, if you gave me this same deal, knowing what I know now, I would actually make X amount more profit. What would you have to do that?
I think get good advice. Pay good money for good advice. So since we've started using like a town planner and getting other, just on like even the business structure, like we're in a course now that we're getting advice from, and if we had done that, if we knew about that, it was, we're pretty naive, but getting good advice, I think we could have, I don't know, honestly, maybe walked away with 500 plus more just from getting the advice from the right people on how to do it rather than learning the mistake yourself, because we may as well stand on the shoulders of the giants and learn from their mistakes rather than I'm learning that we made so many fucking mistakes that we shouldn't have made. If we had maybe just asked more questions and found the right people to talk to rather than just winging it. But it has been fun, I must admit. It's been good.
So if you were to do this again, advice would be a big one.
Yep. Have the right people on your team.
Right people on your team.
100%.
Okay. And you said you're doing some kind of a course like you're learning now?
Yeah, it's more on like it's like a wealth strategy program, I suppose you call it. And that was quite good. We come into that halfway through this, and he was the guy in there. He's like, your structures are f***ed. Like you're f***ed if you shit the bed. So we did like a mega sort of shuffle, made sure that none of the risk was on anything we sort of asset and cash was held like with Tay, so to say, in some trust structures, and then any risk I'm just the director of. All the shares are held via a discretionary trust with a corporate entity. So it's fully, so everything we have now, if I was to shit the bed now with something, we're not going to lose anything.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So now there's a bit of like safety built in.
Yeah. And it does make you, if anything, it probably makes me more comfortable to take more risk because I know it's sweet now.
You put the seatbelt on, you're like, okay, 100 zone, you mean 200 zone?
Exactly right, yeah.
I've got airbags now, 300 zone.
Yeah, exactly right. But I do think they're like, if we had the right people from the start, it would have helped a lot.
Okay.
And we're still looking, yeah. I'm always open to looking for new people that know stuff that we can learn from and make money from at the end of the day without making mistakes.
As an absolute man of action, what is your action step? For anyone that's listened, that's because I know this is going to be such a split. There's going to be so many people just going, this guy is on another level, and so many people go, okay, cool, he did it. It's done.
Well, I think we did it. It's definitely team effort.
Sorry, you and Tay did it. Yeah, you're right. So if someone's really inspired by what you guys have done, what's an action step that they can do? And I'm actually kind of hesitant to ask you this question.
I haven't been thinking about this one a lot.
Pull out the headphones. What are they doing?
Well, because I know you ask it every time, and you can have 1,000 action steps, but my go-to is just get it done. You don't like whatever step you want to do, or if you want to do something, just do it. Because that's my mentality. I want to do that. All right, I'm just going to do it. There's obviously you can have one action step. I don't think it's only going to get you one step. Like read a book, but so just get it done.
Your step is just do it. Doesn't matter.
Get it done.
The step is every step.
But just get it done. Some steps are shit to do. Bringing up people to borrow money is fucking shit. But you just got to get it done. If you want to get to the we've jumped so far ahead. I reckon if we went in the slow route, I reckon we've shaved 20 years off our wealth journey by doing this. Imagine if you didn't. Imagine if we didn't do it. That would be depressing.
Just thinking of your equity position now, and if you were to invest your way there, yeah, you're right. Maybe not 20, but at least 10. Like, yeah, you've skyrocketed that.
100%. And there's obviously risk involved, but I'm only 32. Tay's only 31. What's the worst that can happen?
Mate, you are an absolute individual, Peter. Thank you. I appreciate you coming in. I don't think I'll ever do an interview like this again. Yeah, and like I said, man, I think you're headed to bigger things, because what you've done now is exceptional, and you are one of the few people that actually makes me a little bit lost for words. And like I said, I hope you guys have taken away so much from this episode, because whether you like the way Peter's done it or not, there's a lot of learnings packed into this. And I think it's awesome, man. But I got to ask you the most important question of the entire show. Peter Giles, what is your favorite pizza?
Honestly, it's just homemade in the oven. Tanya makes the dough herself.
Oh, nice.
Put whatever you're feeling like. Yeah, some days you feel like different stuff. Put whatever you want on there. I always go real thick, nice thick dough. I like a big thick paste, thick dough. And being in the oven, nothing fancy. On a pizza stone, you got to get that.
Yeah.
But that's what I do. Make it myself.
Are you making it with kids? How old is River and Miller?
River's 2 and Miller's 4.
Okay.
Yeah. So they love making it, and it's heaps fun. Like they love doing the dough and fucking it up so it doesn't rise properly. They'll make their own little pizzas. I'll make mine. But if I like topping wise, like if I'm not with the kids, it's like a peri peri chicken.
Okay.
Yeah. But with the kids, it's definitely like a meat lover. Yeah. They love the meat. Yeah.
Bit of spice when they're not around.
Yeah, a bit of spice when they don't like it. Yeah.
Okay.
And then they get a bit sad. So got to keep them happy. They're cool as shit.
All right, Peter, are there any final words of wisdom or anything you'd like to leave our audience with today, mate?
Probably just stop making excuses.
Get it done.
Just get it done.
Get it done.
Yeah.
I feel like we've found your quote to post on Instagram. Just get it done. Peter Giles, thank you so much for sharing your story on the show, man.
Thank you.